Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. You know what? Even here at High Prairie Acres, we don't have air conditioning. It's like 90 something degrees outside. So, a little icy lemonade. It may be special lemonade. Hey, y'all remember back during the election when Trump was running against Hillary? And I said, and if you listen to the rhetoric that was going on between the two, you could see that Hillary wanted to take us to war with the Russians back then. And I said, if Hillary gets elected, we're going to war with the Russians. And I think Trump is not going to go to war with the Russians. As a matter of fact, it looked like Trump had a fairly good relationship with Putin, which I see as a good thing. And then, of course, the deep state got all involved with these fake charges of collusion and you're buddy-buddy with him and yada yada. So he had to back way off of the bromance with Putin. And then other things have happened and, things aren't so good. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that's been happening like in a 1 week period or is fixing to happen. Should be interesting. But first, cue the intro. Bum, 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 ba-ba. Dun, 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 dun. Y'all have this book yet? You should. You should not only have it, you should read it. You should pre-stock the things you need to pre-stock now, and you should have a plan. And if you can't afford whatever it cost, I bought this version when it was like less than $10, I think. You can get it for free on the internet if you want to print it out yourself. I don't think it's a whole lot of money right now. And then when I was pulling that off the shelf, because I have a different one I have a newer version. It's not any better. Down at Shofar Mountain, I found this tome, one of my first survivalist books. Dr. Bruce Clayton. Interesting guy, still around, I think. This is a great book. One of the early prepper books. A lot in it. It's kind of funny to look at the pictures. All right. A lot going on. G7. Trump left early to go to Singapore in advance of his meeting with Kim Jong-un in a couple days. G7, I saw a funny picture where like all the European leaders are like looking down at Trump like this, and Trump's sitting down with his arms crossed, staring back at him. They're unhappy with Trump. Yeah, all of the elites are unhappy with Trump. And I'm talking political mover and shaker elites. Trump is obviously one of the financial elites, but he's not playing the game like they thought he would at all. And they're mad because he's saying, look, you guys have been getting over on Americans forever, and it's time for some free trade. You guys have tariffs on our stuff. You do these shenanigans. We're tired of it, so we're going to put tariffs on you. When I went to grad school, I didn't think one way or another about economics, and they initially turned me into a free trader because that's what all the academics are for, free trade. And then the thing about getting an education is you actually start using this, and they didn't get to me. I finally decided, no, I'm not for free trade as it's written. I'm for protecting vital national interests and economies, and if that means tariffs on some things, then so be it. But we're not going to let slave workers in China destroy our steel industry. Oh wait, we already did. You know what I mean, right? So they're unhappy with Trump for that because their easy street days are about to come to an end under him, and they're very unhappy with him for pulling out of the climate agreement. uh, which is a bunch of bunk, right? That was, again, another way just to control you and me and everybody else in the world, and the elites would make more money and you'd be more constrained. And Trump's like, yeah, no, we're not going to play that. So they got mad at him for that. And then they're mad at him for the Iran, pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal, because it was a bad deal. He's absolutely right. Worst deal made in history. And Iran was clearly cheating and doesn't care, and yada, yada, yada. And so we're going to put heavy sanctions on anybody who does trade or business with Iran, which happens to be a whole lot of Europeans. So they're not happy about that. And so they're all whining and kvetching and saying silly little things. One of them said, we'd be happy with it to be the G6, meaning America. Go away. Go ahead. Personally, I'd be happy with that. And biblically, I think I could support that something like that may be happening sooner rather than later. Be that as it may. Also going on right now is the Bilderberger Conference, right? Where all the elites get together, the Illuminati man, and they decide the fate of the world for the next year. And they publish some things. They publish who most of the attendees are. They publish what the schedule is going to be that they're going to talk about. And it's interesting that this one, they're talking about a couple different issues. One is Iran, Saudi Arabia. There's a war coming there. I think soon. But I've been thinking soon for a while. Another one is artificial intelligence. Again, to get biblical, I guess it's on my mind. If you read about those scorpions that sting people, I think those are little drones run by AI in Revelation. If you don't track with that, don't worry about it. I think AI is going to be a problem. They decided our fate in a microsecond. And they're talking about Russia. See, Russia's not part of the group, not part of the Bilderberger group. There's a war coming with Russia. The elites want it. Trump kind of put a stumbling block in that. I thought Hillary was a shoo-in and they'd have their war, and now they're fixing to get it. So those two meetings are going on, G7, Bilderberger, simultaneously with a NATO big meeting. What's NATO for? To stand against Russia, right? Formerly Soviet Union, Russia, Warsaw Pact. There's a big exercise going on there. A big meeting going on. So at the Bilderberger group, you have a lot of former who still have a lot of power, and current defense ministers, intelligence heads, of their version of the CIA. You have bankers. You got a dude from the Vatican for the first time ever coming, or at least that I know of. So you got all this military intelligence stuff going on. A lot of times it's economics, but this time it looks like, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Russia, AI. It looks like a very militaristic kind of drumbeat going on. You got the NATO meeting going on. You got the G7 mad because of the Iran thing, which there's a war coming there, right? You got Trump going to meet with Kim Jong-un on the 12th. Couple days from now, and to talk about nukes, and that's either going to go well or it's not. And if it doesn't go well, we can probably expect to see some moves there. Not great moves. And so that's going on. And then Sweden, they put out, I think I did a post on it. I may have done it for the Warriors. But Sweden put out a book a couple weeks ago, their version of In Time of Emergency or whatever, a civil defense manual for their people. But it was kind of noteworthy that they put it out and told everybody, stock up some food, be ready to be on your own for a while, don't believe rumors, get ready for war. And then I guess just the other day, no notice call up of all their reserve forces, their military, for a big exercise. They're worried about Russia. Sweden is worried about Russia. Poland is worried about Russia. Poland just made an offer to us. They'll pay us, $2 billion to put a base there. I've been to Poland with the military. I liked it. I liked the Polish people. I thought they were cool. I thought it was a beautiful country. And I said, because at the time I went, we were having troubles with Germany. Germany was, we don't know if we want you in our bases here, and dun, 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 dun. I'm like, we ought to do that to Germany. They got a lot of money from our troops being over there. Let's take our bases out of Germany and go to Poland. They want us. They wanted us then. Now they're willing to pay us. But why is that? Why do you want a foreign army on your land? Because you need them. They're worried about the Russians. To their end, the Russians said, "You're going to put an armored division in Poland? Okay. We'll put 400,000 guys against it. We're not worried." Things are cooking. Things are moving. And it's looking to my eyes like the pieces are starting to come together against Iran. Oh, did you hear? Also going on is a meeting of the Shanghai Cooperative Organization. It's kind of like ASEAN and NATO and things kind of like that, but not really. It's basically China and Russia, and then there's like some former Soviet republics that are in it. It's just this India and Pakistan, two nuclear powers, are in it. And they're just trying to kind of do the Eurasia thing, mostly Asia, and get a little agreements and talk and dialogue going. They're meeting right now also. And guess who they invited as a special observer? Iran. And Iran is hoping, and I guess they've been in observer status for a while now, they're hoping to be made a member of this group. China, Russia, and Iran. Turkey had a meeting recently with Turkey, Russia, and Iran heads. There's a war coming with Iran. And in the wings is Russia. Perhaps China. China sent people to Syria too. Perhaps some kind of coordinated thing. We go over here in the east, you go over here in the west. You guys go up the middle. It'll be lovely. It's interesting. It's an interesting world in which we live. There's a lot of pieces moving. It seems to me like the war drums are beaten. Make no mistake, war with Russia in any form will be bad. War with China in any form will be bad. Bloody. Maybe nuclear. You know what they target with nukes? What everybody with nukes targets. Command and control, to a degree. Military targets. They target nukes. We try and hit their nukes, they try and hit our nukes, but you also hit military bases. What are our big military bases? What are our important military facilities? American Vikings. Tampa, home of CENTCOM and SOCOM. Fort Bragg, North Carolina, 82nd Airborne, whole bunch of Special Forces guys and other people. Air Force bases, Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. The 101st, Fort Campbell, Kentucky. That's a nuclear target. You can bet on that. Then look at infrastructure. I was looking at a map one time. I was bored. It may have even been a Google map, and I was just kind of scrolling around and zooming in and zooming out. I love Google Earth. It's an amazing intelligence tool. And I saw all these roads in a part of Texas or Oklahoma. I think Texas, like northeast Texas. All these roads kind of came together. So I'm like, what town is that? And I go in, there's no town there. I'm like, what the heck is this? So then I start doing some research, and it was some huge petroleum distillation. Is that the right word? Where they mix the different kinds of gas and oil to get the combo they want. Petroleum facilities and then distribution through pipelines. Big point. That's a nuclear target in the middle of nowhere. Wherever big roads come together, Kansas City, I-35, I-70, gone. Things like that. Sea bases, big, Bremerton up in Washington, nuclear subs, Bangor in Maine, nuclear subs, Norfolk, Virginia, gone. You should know where the nuclear targets that will affect you directly are. You should do some research. Not a whole lot of targets in those arcs. Just saying. Not a whole lot in northern Idaho either. Although I don't know what that fallout's going to do coming from Fort Lewis, another big target, Joint Base Lewis-McChord. I know I don't use the new terminology because I wasn't in when they came up with it, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Nuclear war could be coming. Also, might not come, but it could be. And I guess I'll start wrapping it up with this. For those of you who read the Bible, if you read the Bible, you will see end times stuff. And you can kind of pick out who the countries are, Gog and Magog. It's looking like, to me, Turkey, maybe Northern Europe, Russia, right? Bad guys. You see China, this huge army from the east coming across the Euphrates River that stopped up. That's obviously some kind of coalition with China coming from the east. Maybe China, India make nice and, come across. You see this and you see that. But what you don't see is the USA. And I don't want to turn this into too long of a video, but the only way the United States would not be involved in some major conflict in the Middle East where all these major powers are coming in is if we couldn't be involved. We've been taken out of the picture before that battle war situation unfolds. In fact, for those planning such a situation, taking us out early is probably in their best interest. Bolt out of the blue. Could take multiple forms. That doesn't mean that the whole United States is going to be glass. That doesn't mean that everybody in the continental United States is going to be dead. It just means we will cease to function as a nation. Which means life as you know it will be irrevocably. See, there's another one of those words. I have a better reading vocabulary than speaking vocabulary. I need to hang out with people who speak at a higher level. What was the word I was trying to remember the other day? A couple of y'all got it, and it was right what you said. Doesn't matter. Oh, exacerbate. Exacerbate. Make it worse. Doesn't mean everyone's going to die. You could still be alive. The Most High could have a plan for you. Might want to start thinking about that. Start preparing for the worst. I was just talking to, was it Brother Chris following Yeshua? Or was it Brother Elder Boaz? Somebody. It doesn't really matter who I was talking to, but it was, and it may have been one of y'all, now that I think about it, for all I know. When I say talking to, I mean, a lot of people, and probably me to a degree as well, plan, it's bugging me who was saying it, because I can almost hear their words in my head. I think it was Brother Chris. I'm following Yeshua. Anyway, people plan for problems, to deal with problems. I'm a prepper, so I'm prepared to deal with this, and this. Their worst case imagined threat, foe, problem set, they scale that down to what is their ability to deal with it now. And so nobody thinks that a team, it was Brother Chris, that a team of highly trained criminals is going to do a multiple simultaneous entry on their house. Oh, that is never going to happen. The only thing we're going to have out here is some crackhead walking around with a little pea shooter in his pocket, and I'll take him out with my .308 from my roof. Mm-hmm. Okay, you got it all figured out there, Buckwheat. Good for you. You have to imagine the unimaginable. How can you do that? Can God make a rock so big that he can't lift it? Yes, he can. Well, then he couldn't lift it. No, he could lift it. But you said he could design a rock so big he couldn't lift it. He could. I'm digressing. Don't just imagine what you think you can deal with. Take the worst thing you can imagine and prepare to deal with that. Also, once you get the basics down, what I'm saying is never rest on your laurels, right? Always continuously improve. Once you know you're set for a 2-month power outage and, Oh, it's going to be chaos, man. It's going to be an EMP. Man, preppers love EMP. You know why they love the threat of EMP? Because they think they don't die, right? There's no explosion, there's no poison, there's no plague or fire, directly. It's just poof, lights out. I'll fire up my Coleman grill, kick into my mountain house, bar the door, load my AR, and I'm good to go. See, they like that, right? That's a fun thing. They don't like thinking about things they don't like thinking about. Those are the things we need to think about. Push yourself. Once you're ready for this, get ready for that. Once you're ready for that, get ready for that. Once you're ready for that, get ready for that. You will never be ready for everything. You got to do the best you can with what you got where you're at. And I'll see you out there.